All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Here we are live every morning at 7 a.m. where we come to talk about community, communication, dog poop horror stories, favorite dog stories, and we're trading. And today, for the first probably 15 minutes, we're going to be in the markets just because we just swept some highs. I think I'm expecting it to either go back into this order block, so I might be able to short it into the order block, but then that might be closing its bullish fair value gap that it might form here. Yeah, I don't know. We swept some highs. After an external, you're expecting it to go to internal, and it just formed an order block that is bullish. So I kind of think it's going to go back into that after sweeping some highs. And then from the order block all the way to the highs, which I know that may not mean a lot to all of you guys, but basically it means I have a trade coming up. So I'm going to be watching that a little closer than I usually would be. Finishing out my analysis right here. I'm looking at the 4-hour chart. And again, this whole stream is about community and communication. So like I'm right here with my phone. You can call in 512-591-6138. Or you can text in, either one. I'm just going to make sure that I'm live by pulling it up on my other phone. Just to make sure you guys are getting me on YouTube, if you know what I'm saying. So let's see. Looks like I am live. Perfect. Alrighty. Cool beans, cool beans. So yeah, kind of what we're looking for on the 1 minute is a CISD. Which, you know, I don't know if it's going to do. It might just keep going up, but I'm going to keep doing my analysis just in case by looking at the 4-hour next and then the 15-minute. So the 4-hour is looking pretty bullish, but I don't see any I'll say bullish but unclear because I don't see clear liquidity that it's going to. I guess it kind of created an order block if it breaks this high. But other than that, it didn't tap into any fair value gap. Oh, I guess it did. It's going from a fair value gap to the highs, I would say. Yeah. Okay, so never mind. Double look. We trade the NASDAQ, so if you guys trade the NASDAQ, let me know. If you don't trade it, you want to trade the NASDAQ, let me know. So we're bullish on the 4-hour. Let's check the daily. And the daily is also coming out of a bullish fair value gap, and it's at new highs, honestly. Which this is hard because the market's been in new highs in general. If I had to pick a direction for the 1 hour, I'm gonna pick up. I'm an 8 out of 10 in terms of confidence for that direction. This is just tough though, because I'm like, am I going to be able to short it into the order block? Or like, do I need to take it long again? Do I need to wait for the next fair value gap to form? All that's just a little bit confusing as of right now. Let's see. We're going to analyze the 15-minute real quick. So it swept the high. Here we go. 15-minute recently swept the high at 5:30 a.m. What I got to figure out how to do is share my screen with you guys. Maybe I'll figure that out for my next stream so that you can see me actually taking trades and doing stuff live. That might crash my computer though, but you know, it is what it is. So it's up a high at 5:30. After price sweeps a high, we're expecting it to go into an internal, and I think it's going to form this 6:45 internal and then go into it. 6:45 a.m. fair value gap, then go into it. It's on the buy side. Everything's on the buy side right now. We're super bullish. Last 4 liquidity spots. We had the high sweep at 5:30. 5:30. We have an untouched low at 6 a.m. And this is just me going from right to left on the stock. And I see that we most recently swept a high. We're forming a fair value gap. Then we have a low. Already got that high. A 5 a.m. low that was swept. It's kind of irrelevant though, because we already swept it and popped up. And let's see about order blocks. Do we have any order blocks? We have a 6:30 a.m. order block untouched as well that I forgot to add. There we go. 6:30 a.m. order block untouched. And that order block is bullish. I don't even think it'll get there because it's creating a bullish fair value gap right above that order block. Are we missing any order blocks? Nope. We got the 6 a.m. one. And we also have 5:15 to 5:45. Competing fair value gaps? No, I don't think there are actually. Let's see. Everything's good. No bearish fair value gaps that I see. Yep. So we're good to go on the 15-minute. And if I had to pick a direction, I'm picking up. And I'm picking also an 8. So we're pretty bullish on the day. Basically, I'm waiting for a change in state of delivery on the 1 minute so that it can drop, because it recently swept the high. That's the most recent thing it did on the 1 hour. So now it needs to go into internal. It goes from external to internal liquidity. So after it sweeps a high, it needs to go back into a fair value gap or an order block, or that's pretty much it. A fair value gap or an order block is what I trade. And yeah, this order block here at 5 a.m. Then you have the 6 a.m. candle and you have the 7 a.m. candle that's forming. So this is either going to form a bullish fair value gap and we won't be able to take a trade till 8, which means we probably won't be able to take a trade because we have to hop off by then. Or it's going to start changing its state in delivery now and it's going to go down into this order block. I don't really know which is going to happen. And that's typically why we bring Theo. Odd, because he has better experience with that. But I'm done with my trade analysis. We can jump into actual community stuff. See if I have any texts or calls in. No, I do not. In which case, I will start with just a community segment. And so we are here live on the stream. I plan out a few of these segments, and then I have a few more that I can jump into kind of just randomly. I'm trying to get to the point where it's all planned out, and we've done them. Ooh, man. Sorry about that. Guess I didn't sleep too well last night. I'm still a little tired. Or it's just 7 a.m. and I don't drink coffee. You know, there's that. But I have a few segments planned out for community and communication that I can get to talking about. Theo should call into the stream then, and we can double ask him about them. If you have any questions about community or communication, call in. Again, you can call in, text 512-591-6138. And what you do is you text me your name, your number, and your city, and your question. And so you can ask a community question, you can ask a communication question, or you can ask, or you can share a dog story or a dog poop horror story. And so the whole reason we're on this stream is to help dog parents, specifically in Austin, because that's where I am right now, but eventually dog parents across the nation go start feeling more connected in community, because we have a small community here that's not very active, but we're trying to get it more active. So what can we do to get that community more active? Get live on stream here, connect over dog walks, connect over dog events, etc. So we're trying to actively do that in the Austin area, and we're trying to help people feel less stressed. And we do that by taking care of their poop scooping for them. We'll do the first one for free, and then you can get us on a recurring service. And, if you have multiple dogs, it can be tough. If you recently got hurt playing a sport or something else, that could be tough. And we can take that stress, that burden off of you, keep your backyard clean. And then, of course, discounts. If I can save you money, hopefully that saves you a little bit of stress, or at least lets you treat yourself, which should decrease those cortisol levels as well. That's why we're here on the stream, building that community to bolster that discount club and help people out with the poop in their backyard. And that's why we talk about the things we talk about. I also just trade every morning, and eventually we want to do something called stocks and walks, where I want to track my trade performance versus the dog community's trade performance. And so basically you guys will come on stream with your dog, have them do a trick, or you're going to call your shot. You're like, this is the trick they're going to do. This is how they're going to do it. And if they do it successfully, we'll take a trade long. If they do it unsuccessfully, we'll take a trade short. And, we'll have like a 10-point stop loss, 15-point target, something like that. And we'll track the performance of your dog coming on stream doing tricks versus my actual planned trading, which hopefully this works. But if this works, maybe we can all make money together trading with some prop firms. That'd be cool. If not, it's still fun because you get to have your dogs do tricks on stream. And I think that's a cool way to build the community. So anyway, I digress. That's the point of the stream. Let me pause because sometimes I get people saying hey, and then I missed the question. So I'm checking chat, checking my phone one more time. Yep, all good there. Also, if you guys see this on Facebook, that's where most of my views come, and they come after I post the stream. YouTube and Twitch, still a little slow right now. And you have recommendations for the stream or something you would like to see, let me know. That's what we're here for, to stream, build community, and help people out. So anyway, we're going to jump to that first community segment. Let's get it. So, when I'm thinking about community today, I want to talk about accountability, really. I think that's the metric we pulled from. And, maybe you're one of those people that's always putting things off, even when you think you care about them, and you're struggling to focus, struggling to get your to-do lists done, struggling to actually do the things you need to do to get to where you want to go. And I want to say this very clearly. You don't need more motivation. You need a date. If you think about Parkinson's law, it states that work expands to take up the time that you give it. And so if you give yourself 2 years to get in shape, it's going to take 2 years. If you give yourself 6 weeks to get in shape, you may not get all the way in shape in 6 weeks, but it's going to happen a lot sooner. So when you're thinking about getting stuff done, stop going for motivation and start putting dates on the calendar with accountability. You can do that by picking a goal, finding a way to measure it, picking a deadline, and then picking a friend to hold you accountable by doing the activity with you. And that's how you go from needing motivation to putting a date on the calendar and getting the stuff done, motivation or not. So that's my kind of first tidbit that I want to stay on. And specifically because I don't know if you guys experience this in school, but I'll give you a pretty funny story. I was in abnormal psychology. This was the one thing I learned in college, and college was not helpful for me for a lot of stuff, but what it was helpful for was this one thing. The One Thing by Gary Keller. No, I'm just kidding. That was a good book though. I was failing abnormal psychology, and I was failing abnormal psychology not because I'm stupid. I'm actually pretty intelligent. Thank you very much. But because I absolutely hated school by the time I got to college. I finished in high school, my whole life was grades and football. When I got to college, I quit football and realized grades didn't matter because I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Why didn't I quit college? Good question. Honestly, you want to know the honest answer? If you were on my stream yesterday, you heard me talk about the community I was in. That is why I didn't quit college. I loved the people I was around, and it hurt to leave them. And it doesn't usually hurt me to leave people, but it hurt me to leave them. And so shout out to the whole community in college. Guys, we got to go on a Cabo trip or something. Anyway, that's why I stayed. But while I was staying, my grades suffered. I didn't completely suffer. I graduated with like a 3.2 or a 3.3 or something like that. Could have done a lot better, but could have done a lot worse as well. I was also a psychology major, so definitely wasn't a hard degree to get good grades, and not like I was comp sci. And basically I was failing abnormal psychology. And that's because the class was a little hard. You had to memorize a lot of stuff, and that's all it was. There was no like theory to understand. It was like rote memorization of the DSM-5. And I couldn't do it. Not that I couldn't do it. I didn't want to do it. And so then I had to go to office hours for my professor, to not fail my abnormal psychology class. And basically she was like, do you think people succeed? This was like the most profound thing I learned in college, like bar none. It wasn't even in classes because I was failing a class. She's like, do you think people succeed or successful people succeed more because of willpower or something else? And I was like, oh, from what I know, it's like willpower. It's like you can will yourself to succeed. Like you just make up a decision in your mind and you're going to get it done. She was like, that's what a lot of people actually think. And I think it's because of that book, Grit. When you hear the word grit, it's like, ooh, that's a gritty person. They can do it all on their own. But that's not the case. It's not the case at all. In fact, she said, my abnormal psychology professor, most successful people don't succeed because of their grit or their willpower. They succeed because of their accountability systems. See, when you have systems in place to hold you accountable to the things you're doing, you don't have to will yourself to do them. You just get up because the consequences of not doing them are more important than the consequences of doing them. i.e., that small pain you feel in the moment from making yourself do the thing is a less amount of pain. It's a smaller amount of pain than the pain you would experience if you didn't do the thing. And so the biggest accountability systems are like family, kids, owning a company, like having liability basically if you don't show up for work. Because if you don't show up for work and you go a little hungry or you have to eat rice and beans for a little bit, it's a lot different than if you don't show up for work and your 4 kids have to eat rice and beans. It's like, oh, they're growing. They need nutrition. They don't know how to regulate emotion as well. Like their life really struggles, So that's why add a friend was so important to this piece of community, this accountability piece. Because you can pick a goal, you can find a way to measure it, and you can pick a deadline. But if you're not accountable to somebody for something, it's weaker. It's weaker. That's it. Period. So in abnormal psychology, from failing it, I learned that. And what happened after that? I was failing my abnormal psych. I think I got like a 68, a 50, a 68, and a 62 on the 4 tests in that class. And then she talked to me about these accountability systems. I started studying with one of my friends who was in the community with me, who studied a lot. Like she was a good student. I was a bad student in that class. She was a good student in that class. She kind of made these like Quizlets or something like that I used to help study. I just went through them and I went through them. Reps. I ended up getting like 98 to 100 on the final test. That was like a cumulative test. And that took me to a C in the class. So I ended up passing that class, even though I failed every test before that, because I actually studied. And part of that was that conversation I had with that professor about accountability systems and putting something in place where it's like, hey, let's study together. I'm going to do this, and this using these resources at these times for the next 2 weeks, really hard, so that I can pass this class, so I don't have to take it again, because that's the last thing I want to do. More accountability and consequences, right? So I just thought that was a pretty cool thing about community. Just thinking about accountability, thinking about how can I add a friend? How can I pick a deadline? How can I find a way to measure it? How can I pick a goal? And in community, when adding that friend, something you have to consider, which we'll talk about next after we have a communication segment and whatnot, you probably have to have the same goal, because it's hard to have somebody around you that does not have the same goal as you, because they're typically slowing you down. So that's what we got for you on the community segment today. And now we're going to go to Reddit, because 3 or 4 days ago, I posted... Let's see. I could just beatbox on the stream if you guys want. So 3 days ago, I posted, what's your funniest dog poop story or any hilarious dog story? Always curious what people have experienced. Share below and we'll talk about the funny ones on our stream. So I posted that 3 days ago. We got some Reddit reviews, 79 responses, 14 upvotes, and 14,000 views. We probably need to post again next week to have some more fodder for the stream. But also, if you guys have any dog stories, like text them in, call them in. We had one come in through an Instagram DM and one come in through a text. Shout out to Kelly from Cornelius, North Carolina. And Kelly was one of the people in that college community, which is why she can come off the top of my head. But Frankie Ann Von Waffles also DM'd me And so Frankie Ann Von Waffles is a dog Instagram, and the owner gave their dog a red cupcake that is obviously edible for dogs in the kind of birthday package. And then they go to Pet Paradise and their dog is pooping out a bunch of red stuff, and the owner gets a call for it. So that's what Frankie Ann Von Waffle sent in. Kelly sent in a video of dogs just barking at sirens because it was a super cute moment where your loved one, your dog that you love to spend time with, is just acting silly. And we love to capture those moments because a big life is made up of small moments. Clip that. That just came off the dome right there. Big life is made of small moments, but seriously, it is. And so if you guys have any stories, text, call 512-591-6138. We'll feature them on the stream. But right now we have _shake 1478. _shake 1478. This is a long one. I'm going to try to read it well so that it delivers well, because I'm sure it's funny. But let's see. Family dog, at the time about 16 years old, walks into the kitchen. Comes back out with one of her dental chew treat things. My dog is now looking at me with utter betrayal. I go get my dog one of the treats, look for where my family dog got hers, don't see anything. Sit back on the couch. Family dog finishes her treat and gets up, goes back into the kitchen, comes out with another one. And I was like, what's going on? I don't know. Let's keep reading. I am up and flip on all the lights to find where she's getting these dang treats, as my dog definitely doesn't need another, nor do I need them fighting over any. Find the bag, had fallen behind the water bucket thing. Pick the bag up, go back to the couch. Family dog gets up again for a third treat. I can't find her bag behind the water bucket. Okay, so she got up again for a third treat. You can't find the bag behind the water bucket. What happens next? Comes walking past the couch into the living room, snarfs at me in disgust. Can we take a moment to just appreciate the word snarf? Like, I've never, maybe I've heard it, but I appreciate you, _shake 1478, for using the word snarf. And continuing. Walks to the other side in front of the door, squats, maintains eye contact with me, and poops. Then, because she doesn't want to hear/see me yelling, and then in parentheses, and laughing, not going to lie. Probably something you shouldn't do as a dog parent, but I'd probably be doing it too because she's staring me down while she's pooping, right? She turns the other way, squats again, pees, and looks over her shoulder to make sure I see how mad she is with me. That is actually epic. Squats, pees, looks over the shoulder so she knows, so that the owner knows how mad she is with her. That is diabolical. And that's a sort of wisdom and skill you get after, 16 years of living? Family dog, 16 years at the time. That is hilarious. Owner, flabbergasted, absolutely dying of laughter at her, absolutely planted F you towards me. Yep, if there was a way for a dog to say F you, I think that would be the way. I'm going to reply to you, _shake 1478. Thanks for sharing. We just read it on the stream. And I think it'll produce some good clips. Cool. Oh, guys. I got so caught up on the stream, I wasn't looking at my trades. Let's see. Okay. So we had dang it. Let me go back to the 1 hour. Go back to the 1 hour. So that fair value gap we were worried about has, it's like, it almost closed, but I think it's still open actually. I need to zoom in a bit more. Yeah, there's still a gap there. Still a gap, still a gap. Just barely though. Like I need to like. Here we go. Man. That is crazy. I really can't tell. I mean, it's just the smallest gap if there is a gap. So we had a change in state of delivery, which means it created a fair value gap on the 1 minute. Oh, did it? Yes. It created a fair value gap. Then it took a low. And we got a chance to enter right where it is right now. So, I mean, technically we could enter this. I think we will with an 09 entry, a 15. So that's that's 6 points. So we'll do 7 points. That's 14 contracts. So we're going to go 14 contracts. We're going to go ahead and sell that right now. So we're going to have to put a mistake down for this because it was a late entry. We were supposed to enter at 0950. And our stop loss is at 215.50. So we need to get that in there pretty quick. Give me a second, guys. 25, 2, we'll go 216 just to give it a little bit more room. We're entering with 14, and then we're going to go 25. This is probably going to be somewhere around 200. We'll fix that later, but we have to get it in because we might get stopped out here soon. So we bought. Did we sell? Yes, we sold. So we're going to be buying back. Whew. Trading on streams a little bit harder than I would like to admit. Okay, so I'm not feeling good about this one, but we did have a CISD. I do have a high sweep to a order block, and we did just enter late, but we had a fair value gap that CISD'd, so we took it, and now we have to document this. So give me a second. It's in our sets of 20. Gotta make another template. Oh boy. Looks like the dogs might be doing better than me. If you guys ever call in, your dogs do tricks. Losing a trade right now, so they might be better off than I am. So the date is 10/7. So the 1 hour draw, if I bring the 1 hour back on, let's see. It was a high sweep, 12 a.m. high sweep into the 5 a.m. order block. Yeah. 12 a.m. high sweep into the 5 a.m. order block. 1 minute entry. So mistake was a late entry. But we did have it was the first fair value gap after a CISD. Our stop loss. Oof, yeah, already got stopped out. Silly. See, I didn't really like that trade, but it's whatever. 25.216 was a stop loss. 25.216.00. Target was going to be, basically 25.194 or something like that. Your entry was supposed to be, bro, see, it's going to barely stop me out and then go. So irritating. 25.209.50 was supposed to be your entry. So if the stop loss was 650. Call it 6. We'll call it. Yeah, it was 6 because we did 14. No, it was 7 because we did 14. I think we miscalculated that risk too. Because 209.50 plus 6 is 1550. So we probably should have been doing 6, but we did 7 because it was like 650. So we didn't miscalculate risk. But if you were going 650, you're going to go 13 away from your entry, which is 96.50. 96.50. Late entry due to streaming. Well, I guess I wasn't also confident about the draw on liquidity because of how bullish it was. So we'll write that down, and then we just have to go mark this on trading view. Give me 1 second. Man, that really kind of sucked. I won't lie. So if you guys want to call in and talk to me about community, that'd be great. Because I haven't taken a trade in a while, and we haven't been on a good streak so far. But it is what it is. I ain't tripping that much. Let's see. Yeah, no, I think this was just a bad trade. Wait a minute. $708. Oh, that's why. Okay, 1 minute. Sorry about this, guys. This takes a little bit longer, but you got to document this stuff so that when you're learning, you can look back on it and be like, this is why I screwed up. Again, we caught it live on stream, but I wasn't feeling super good about this trade. You can just kind of tell. It was super bullish, so trying to short it back into the order block. I don't know. I think that was a mistake. I think the draw on liquidity wasn't super clear. But I'll ask Theo about that later. So we had the 708 fair value gap and the CISD is what I saw. So I'll draw arrows to that stuff real quick. Give me a second. $7:08 a.m. bearish fair value gap. Sorry guys, I'll be back on the stream talking about community in just a second. We have no call-ins. I don't think we have any people commenting today either. Just gotta document this trade. When did we enter? So we entered at 7:26. Man, what a crappy trade, bro. That was the issue. That was the issue. Yeah, that was the issue. So, guys, the mistake I made this trade, and I know you can't see the screen, but basically the 1 minute stay of delivery was against me. Even though I had a fair value gap, I had a CISD. Coming back into the fair value gap, it changed the stay of delivery again, and that was against me. And so it was very bullish, which is why I felt uneasy about it. But, being on stream and trying to trade is a new thing for me. So, didn't really have time to think about it a ton. Wanted to get the trade out so I could get back to you guys and didn't want to make a mistake, but that is the big mistake I made, and that's what happens when you journal right after you trade. Also, mistake, 1 minute state of delivery was against me. Okay. Now I just gotta take a picture of this, and then I will be back. We can go through a communication segment real quick. Yeah. Just give me a second. Give me a second. What would you guys think about me like playing chess on stream, or trying to just figure out how to push out more content to actually build community and be super helpful for you guys? And so always looking for the recommendations. So this is the 1 minute chart on trade 18, I think. And we'll put that into downloads. This is a whole thing, guys. I used to not journal my trades, and then Theo got on me, and he was like, how you ever going to get better, bro? And I was like, you right. Yeah. Your boy messed this up. So now we're looking at the 1 hour, and I'm just documenting what my idea was and how absolutely wrong it was. So I basically thought at 7 a.m. it was coming into this 2 p.m. bearish value gap. Because it was on buy side, I realized it swept the 12 a.m. high. It swept the 12 a.m. high, entered the swept 12 a.m. high, which was external. So it would go into the 5 a.m. order block, which is internal, with the help of the 2 p.m. fair value gap, which is sell side liquidity. Now we're just gonna draw some arrows to some stuff. We have that fair value gap. We have this high. And we have this order block. We're gonna take a picture of this. I'm so close to done, guys. I know all 2 of you want me to get back to talking about community, so give me a second. So this is the 1 hour for trade 18. Put that into downloads. I'm gonna X that out. Hit this third set. Trade 18. Trade 18 was a loss and a fat mistake. I'll tell you that much. Okay, that trade is all documented. We're good to go there. Back at it with the stream. No text ins, no call ins as of now. Very few. Theo hasn't called, and we have no chat ready. I'm curious how I reset the restream chat, but anyway, we can just jump on restream and see. Since I'm live. What's up? What's up? We got somebody on Twitch. We got somebody on YouTube. Nobody on Facebook watching right now. Everything is good with the stream. We've been live. We've got 2 people watching. Let's see if there's anything in the chat. Nothing in the chat. Nothing in the chat. Okay, cool. Well, with that being the case, we'll just hop right back to it. Guys, I took a trade. I lost today. You're seeing a man. I was going to say his pride is hurt, but it really doesn't bother me. It's more that I was flustered while on stream trying to take the trade, even though nobody's watching. I'm trying to have a good stream for you guys, make good content, build good community, and take trades, and it's new for me. First time I took a trade on stream. Maybe it's the second time, but first time I took a trade alone on stream for sure. Second time I had Theo, I think. So yeah, we're going to hop into another segment. We read some dog stories. We took some trades. We talked about community a little bit. I want to talk about communication detail. This gonna sound a little silly, but I think we find ourselves in this situation a lot. And when you're trying to build community, I feel like one key piece is having a community to bring people into, right? That's a cool thing. But once you have a community to bring people into and you're actively meeting new people, some people are in that stage. And if you're in that stage, you're probably in the community stage where it's like, you're past small talk, you're past consistent activity, and you're past vulnerability. And you're probably getting towards more consistent activity. That's anywhere from 5 to 10 hours a week. Maybe you're seeing people 2-3 times a week minimum, if not more, for multiple hours per time, right? You're probably at that stage of community. And if you're right there and you're inviting people in, it can feel really awkward when you're doing your outreach activity and you're starting to connect with people, but because you're putting yourself out there so much, you meet a lot of people and you don't remember things about them every time you meet them. But when you do meet them, they have a very meaningful interaction with you. And while you may have 15 of those interactions per week, they probably only have 1. So they remember you, you don't remember them. And this happens for me and Gracie, my wife, all the time, because we host Apartment Life events. And Apartment Life is a Christian nonprofit. We are always doing these events every month. We do 2 of them. Sometimes it's a pizza event, sometimes it's donuts, sometimes it's a flu shot with breakfast tacos. There are many events that we do. 2 a month. We've been doing it for 6 months or so. And so we've had 12 events. At those events, we have anywhere from 20 to 60 people come through, and all of them know us as the event people, and we know them as one person who attended our event. So then we see them walking around the hallways of our apartment, because we are really big on day-by-day community, which means we want to be close to our community. So Apartment Life places 2 people into an apartment. We host events, and we get to help the apartment out by hopefully getting good reviews, but we also spread the gospel at our events by connecting with people and then inviting them into our life later. So I would say I'm kind of at that point where I'm trying to find community that does the more consistent activity, but I've passed vulnerability, I've passed consistent community, haven't quite gotten to mission-filled community yet, but I'm at that more consistent activity moment with a sprinkle of mission. It's not that mission's absent, it's just sprinkled in there, you know? So because I'm there, I experience this a lot. And I'm trying to invite people in from Apartment Life events, from our volleyball group that we host, from dog events that I host, but it is hard for me to remember people's names. And this is something specifically for me more than it's for anybody watching, because, I'm starting to connect with people a bit more and I'm putting myself out there and getting to the vulnerability stage or past that. What should I do after somebody shares something personal or after they say they want to come into my world? Um, and my conclusion for that, for myself and for everybody watching, in one sentence, your follow-up proves your friendship. Let me explain. The follow-up proves the friendship because it shows that you care. When somebody tells you something and you never follow up on it, you don't remember it, what that communicates to them is, I don't care about what you just said. So your follow-up proves your friendship. What happens when you forget? This happens to me often. The first thing I do is mirror them to get more details. And so it's like, hey, to me, I'm like, hey, what up? And then I'm like, how you doing? And they're like, I'm doing well. How about yourself? I'm doing well. And then if that doesn't happen, like if I can't get more details about where we met from there, then I struggle a little bit. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna level with you. I don't really remember your name. Can you remind me? Or were you at my last event? Or were you at the pizza event? And they're like, no, I wasn't at the pizza event. You gave me donuts 2 months ago. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. Your car's cool, blah, 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 blah. And we connect there, right? So mirror to get more details, mirror their energy, mirror their emotion, and then just ask the question, right? Just ask the question. So, yeah, I think that's the first thing I really do after they share something personal. If you don't remember them, mirror to get more details about where you met, but then mirror to get something more about the personal thing that they shared. And guys, I actually messed this up. I'm reading two things, and it's like when you awkwardly run into somebody you've seen once, here's how to follow up. And then when they share something personal, your follow-up proves your friendship. So I'm gonna reset this and say your follow-up proves your friendship after they share something personal. And when you're putting yourself out there, you're getting to the vulnerability stage. So now you have people coming to you with stuff that they may not have come to anybody else with, or not a lot of people with. And it's your job to show them you care by mirroring to get more details. And so, yes, that tip that I just talked about works when you go from, oh, awkward, I don't really remember you, to like mirror their energy, ask questions about where they came from. But specifically, follow-up proves friendship when you hear something personal and you mirror to get more details. So if they just tell you something they haven't told many people, ask, how'd that make you feel? Or just mirror the last 5 words that they said of like, your pizza makes you feel funny. Like if that's what they said, they'll be like, yeah, it makes me feel funny in this way. So then you get more details and then you label to understand how they feel. It seems like pizza stresses you out because it upsets your stomach. Again, these aren't the most vulnerable things ever, but these are examples. So you mirror to get more details, you label to understand how they feel, and then you lock it into your memory by associating it with something you already know about them. So maybe you know that they have a really funny laugh. And if pizza makes their stomach upset, picture them laughing, and then picture them eating pizza, and picture what happens when you have an upset stomach. Put all those 3 things together, and maybe you'll remember next time, hey, let's not give them pizza because it's funny to me that their stomach will be so upset and it reminds me of their laugh and yada, yada, yada. You remember that detail about them. That's how you can lock it into your memory. And the next time you see them, be like, ask them about it. Hey, have you eaten pizza recently? Did it stress you out? Or shoot them a text between now and then to surprise them and just show them that you're thinking about them. And all the key here is that all people want to be thought about in high regard. So if you think about them, when you could be doing anything else, it shows them that you care. And so your follow-up proves your friendship. That's what I wanted to say. That's the point I wanted to get to with communication. And yeah, I need help with both of these, honestly, because I follow up on the big stuff, the impactful stuff. But if you remember early in the stream, I said big lives are made of small moments. Oh man, I love that. You got to clip that. Big lives are made of small moments. And I, for one, do a horrible job of remembering the small things in people's lives, primarily because I don't care about the small things in my life, because I'm so mission oriented, so goal focused. It's like a lot of these things I feel are taking away from the things that I care about, a lot of the small things in life. But again, a big life is made of small moments, and you can do the biggest thing in the world. You know, you can impact most people. Maybe you really help out poverty, but it's like, if you lose yourself in the midst of it, what's the point, right? That is actually biblical. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I think it's just something I'm trying to grow in when I'm communicating, because you get to connect with people, and you do care, and you want them to know that you care, but it takes a lot of effort to care, and there's a lot of things in life that get a lot of effort, and this is actually one of the things that ticks me off a little bit about adulthood, is that we're all juggling like 15 to 20 to 30 mission critical things. It's like you got work, then you have marriage, and then you have friendships, and then you have church life or social life, and then you have your physical health, and then you have meal prep, and then you have uh, car logistics and home logistics and so many logistics. Then you have all the various emotions that come around all of those logistics, and yeah, your life just gets full very quickly. And so it reminds me of that metaphor I heard on some TED talk, where it was like putting rocks in, putting sand in, putting smaller rocks in. It's like you have a cup and you have to fill your cup, and you have some big things and you have some small things. But if you fill the cup with too many small things, you can't fit the big things. But usually, when you get the big things right, you can squeeze in the small things. So it's just something to think about for me, of like, how do I balance always doing the big things and like prioritizing those, but then leaving room for the small things too? Because again, without the small moments, you don't really have a life. I feel like, you know, that's just me, and I think we'll end there. Honestly, guys, we went through a community segment, a communication segment, meaning I won't do another segment. We can just chill on stream for a little bit. I can try and read another dog poop horror story. We'll see where that goes. I'll reiterate why we're on the stream, and then we'll go from there. Let's see. Let's see. Looking for some. We already read that one. I just didn't upvote it. Looking for ones I haven't upvoted. Let's see. Ugh. Yeah, you got the live reaction. Here we go. My boy pooped out a live earwig, poked it with a Q-tip to check, and yep, totally took a picture as well, because what the F? He also likes to poop on walls. He's such a weirdo. That's Kylo Ren Ren. That's a great name. Kylo Ren Ren, I loved your post. I like your name better. You're going to upvote. Love the name. Um, Love the name. Thanks for sharing. That's funny. Kylo Ren Ren. Guys, I ain't gonna lie. I've been watching these. Oh, here we go. Here's one. I have a special girl. I once put up all the toys so the dogs wouldn't jump and shove it. Hmm. I have a special girl. I once put up all the toys so the dogs wouldn't jump and shove it in my company's face, a nice reserved gentleman from Canada. When she couldn't find a toy to make the other dog chase her, she grabbed a turd. Brother. When she couldn't find a toy to make the other dog chase her, she grabbed a turd. The Malinois almost chased her for a running game. Then he saw what she had and froze. I had to chase her to get the turd. Another time, she got a hanger in front of the same man back before she knew I could help. She ran and I chased. I'm sure Canadians think people in the South are special. No, Canadians are special. Let's be real. No, I'm just playing. Goat Goddess with 3 S's. Thanks for sharing. Love it. Love it. Cool beans. So guys, I don't know if you know about Judy and her family cafe up in, I feel like it's Galesburg, Illinois or something like that. You have Judy and then you have Tony from LC Lights. They do a lot of clips about, it's like a viral hook, and then they come in at the end of that 3 to 5 second hook and they're like, "Hi Judy, I have the best pancakes, come for breakfast." Or Tony says something absurd, and he's from China, so he says something that is not socially or politically correct, and then he jumps into his pitch, and they get a lot of views, and they're advertising a service basically. And I really need to advertise poop scooping because I want to get to a point where I can replace my income. I can pour more into the dog community, pour more into the top of the funnel for the stream, so that we can start having call-ins. Like if I can start running $100 a day worth of ads to this stream for call-ins, I think we'd get 2, 3, 4 call-ins a day, and that'd be super cool because then we'd really start to be cooking with fire. Instead of theoretical kind of segments, we could jump into actual issues people are having with community, diagnose them, and make sure the action steps are more practical for your daily life. So anyway, I just think that that'd be super cool. But to do that, got to have the poop scooping income coming in, and that poop scooping income can make our top of funnel bigger, which would of course increase the poop scooping income down the road, but also help make this stream a bit more live for you guys. Call-ins, funny moments, better clips, etc. So that's just something I'm thinking about doing. I think I'm actually this Saturday going to try and make 5 of them, and I'll try and do the easy ones where it's just a quick jump to a pitch or like a roll in to a pitch instead of some of the more unique ones. Like I saw this one where this girl runs and she jumps on this sign and then falls face forward, and you catch yourself with a sign between your legs like 3 inches off the ground, and you fall into the camera frame, and you're like, free poop scoop for Austin dog parents, right? And you just dive into your pitch. No pun intended. That was funny. But yeah, that's all we got for you guys on the stream. Thanks for coming out every morning, 7 to 8 a.m. Really looking forward to getting text-ins and call-ins. Hopefully our clips start popping off so people start figuring out about the stream. But yeah, maybe me posting more viral clips will get both poop scooping clients and stream clients. But either way, we're going to make the top of funnel bigger. We're going to build this thing. Thanks for joining us while we are. I will see you guys tomorrow on the next one. All right. Peace.